Okay, we are back.
Hello.
We're recording straight away with sort of part 2 of our destination series, is what we'll call it, with Lara.
We're more warmed up now, aren't
Yeah,
we?
we're ready for it now. Yeah, we're ready for it now. So roll the intro.
Hello and welcome to Confetti Conversations,
The podcast where me and my sister talk all things weddings, wedding planning and married life. Right, so we are on part 2 of our destination series, is what I'm going to call it. And we if you haven't already, go and watch/listen to part 1, where we've talked all about initial finding a venue, finding sort of initial planning of a destination wedding. And now we're at the point where we're looking at sort of a wedding planner and next steps in terms of planning a wedding. Oh, Cooper, you did this at the beginning of the last one as well. He knows.
He's like, it's my time.
Yeah. So let's just get straight into it.
Yeah. So what we discovered quite early on is there are different ways you can approach it. So with wedding planners, it's almost essential for a destination wedding.
Yes.
It is very, very stressful to think that, well, it's over ambitious, I think, to think that you could plan the whole thing yourself, which includes sourcing vendors.
Yeah.
If that's your jam and you're like, no, I want to be an events coordinator in the future, like, go for it, use that as experience. It can be done, I think, but obviously the purpose of the wedding planner is to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Not only do they speak the language of
I was going to say that
location, they also already have a whole host of contacts. They can instantly narrow down what fits your budget. So I think, it's an essential.
Yeah, I would agree.
When you include them is up to you, though. So what I found was you can definitely just search online, on Instagram, wherever, wedding planners in, say, Italy, and lots will come up. There'll be lots of different wedding planners available, and some specialize in certain types of weddings, some specialize in a certain area. So, for example, Tuscan Italian weddings. Some, it'll just be the whole of Italy, and you then contact them and sort of narrow down your area location. If you do that and you approach them first, obviously every wedding planner has a different way of charging you. So what we found was that there's either a set fee, so they have a fee for their services, which includes from day one with you all the talking back and forths, consultations, perhaps like a tour of your venue. Like, they're very much involved. It'll include from that day all the way to the day of, which they'll be there on the day. They'll also be coordinating your wedding.
I was going to say, is that what they do?
Most do, yeah. I think some of them have a team that obviously they might send their assistant who's their coordinator, whereas they've just organised all the logistics.
Right.
But generally they'll be there on the day, from the beginning, from the morning until like your first dance. So throughout the whole day. Some of them can even help with a destination wedding to organise your day before and your day after. So it's like the whole wedding weekend.
Yeah.
That is a set fee. Some of them, we found, charge a percentage. So they might have a fee plus a percentage, or just a percentage. So they might say, we will charge 15% of your overall wedding cost. So for example,
that's crazy,
like
really.
if you spend 20,000 on your wedding, 15% of that, don't even ask me to work it out.
Well, no.
Say that's like,
what's that like?
Off the top of my head, like it's more than like 3,500, something like that.
Yeah.
On top. But obviously if you then spend 25,000 or 30,000, like, that fee goes up. And you can kind of, there's more room for, there's less certainty, and that big cost might hit you at the end. And might be a bit of a shock. So also what we found was some of them have minimums. So they're like, oh, unless you spend 50,000 on your wedding,
really,
like this, we want 15% of, say, a £50,000 wedding. If you don't hit that, then there's like it's like that surplus. So there's so many different ways, and that obviously needs to be taken into account. But basically, once you hire that wedding planner, they can then do all the research for you, literally hand it to you on a plate. So you can say, no like requirements, just Italy, or you might have an initial consultation, like a Zoom call, where they'll just get your criteria. So it might be like, yeah, we definitely want Italy. Our budget is 25k. We want 40 guests.
Yeah.
And it's really important that we have a live band or something. I don't know. So they'll look at those factors. Some of them might actually say, well, look, like for my price, you're never going to get that. Or for Italy in that location, you'll never get that. But if you do really want your 40 guests, I would suggest this area. So obviously they have all of that to guide you through. But then what they will do then is they might create you like a PDF document or something, or an Excel spreadsheet, and they will send over examples of wedding venues or suggestions based on your requirements, your budget. So all of that makes the process really easy.
Yeah.
Because you can then go through and say, well, yes, this is the one we really like. So then, like, obviously you start the ball rolling then.
Yeah.
For us, and again, because I wanted to be more involved in the process, I didn't want to lock in a planner until I knew firstly where we were going to be.
Yeah.
And I just wanted more to do the research for myself, because I guess I had a fear that, well, what if they have their set 10 that they like to offer and they're just giving me that and I don't know what else is out there? Or, like
you wanted to go into it informed.
So I thought, well, I'll do, alongside looking for wedding planners, we were also looking for the venue and the location. And once we'd found that, we were like, actually, we're sort of a step ahead now. And when we contacted our particular venue, they gave us some information themselves. They said, yeah, we can answer some of your questions. And then they said, we tend to work with these wedding planners.
Okay.
So certain venues work closely with certain wedding planners. So they might have certain people assigned. So that made it easier because we had a list of about 6 wedding planners that were closely linked to our venue that we'd already found. So then we contacted those specifically. So we were like, well, we might as well work with one of those. They know the venue, they know the people there. And out of those 6, firstly, we narrowed it down just based on like the feel of the website. It was just a general, like they show you their portfolio generally, so you can see like other weddings they've done, the kinds of people they've worked with. So we had a feel, and we narrowed it down to 3 to start with. Then of those 3, we contacted them and arranged a Zoom call.
So do they have like websites, I assume, that have like all of the weddings that they've done previously? So you can see the vibe that they go for.
So they'll usually have a website. They'll often have an Instagram. They'll almost definitely have like a portfolio. So it'll be like Anna and James's wedding or something, and then you click on it and it'll just show you their photos. You
could see whether these people were producing weddings that you would want to have as your own.
And I think obviously ultimately a wedding planner can create anything that you want. If you know the style and the feel that you want, you can just tell them, these are the flowers I want, please can you get these and tell me how much. Whereas, so you don't have to look at those other weddings and be like, oh well, I would never go for pink flowers, like white, so I would not choose that. It
doesn't have to be that literal.
No, but fine. For me it was helpful to be able to at least visualize ours. Like I sort of need the visual, so I was looking for someone who maybe had experience with my kind of
would get your
wedding
taste, and you'd say I want this, and they'd be like, I get it, and I know where to find that.
Like if they've only done rustic, like I'd be like, oh well, can they execute the style that I want? Whereas I saw ones where they're like, oh, they've done rustic, they've done very modern, they've done luxury, so I was like, okay, they've got good experience, so whatever you connect with, I suppose.
But that's also, I guess, seeing what they've done previously shows you who they know in terms of suppliers. So
exactly. Like they a good photographer.
And like if you see the type of flowers that you want, you're like, great, well they know that florist.
Yeah, exactly.
And, all that kind of stuff. So I get that.
And as I say, if you see on a different wedding planner's website, oh, those flowers, like I love those flowers, but I prefer this other wedding planner and the cost and all that, you can obviously take that photo and say to the wedding planner, like, I don't know if you've ever sourced this, but this is what I want. Yeah. And they'll have contacts. They probably even talk to that wedding planner and be like, hey, where did you get those flowers from?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they're all quite a close network, aren't they, in their country?
Yeah.
So there's all those factors to take into consideration. But then we basically organised Zoom calls, and we had quite a generic conversation with all three, and there was a slight range of prices with the three.
Oh, right.
And we knew which one was going to be the cheaper, basically, the more affordable one. And it's the one without any hidden costs. So, as I say, it didn't have the percentage added on at the end. It was just, this is our fee for our service from start to finish. They even showed us a breakdown of, like, their time on the day. So it's like, an extra £100 for an additional coordinator. So we'll have 2 or 3 coordinators on the day. So we'll have,
so you'll have like one with you, one with
the boys. So they included all of that, and they told us the fee, and so that was really good. That was already a bonus, but we were like, we're not gonna. Obviously,
you could see what you're gonna have to spend,
but we were like, we need to find the right person. So
you need to click with someone.
It doesn't have to be that one.
So
we spoke to all three, and honestly, all three were lovely conversations. Obviously, they're great people. They're people's people. So they're very informative. They're very friendly. Obviously, they're excited to make your day really special. All three of them, it was quite a similar conversation. So it was basically them talking through some of the venues they've worked with, some of their suggestions for us, asking us what our feel is. Like I say, a lot of them don't really want to know the details. Like I was sharing things that they were like, okay, well, we don't. And some people in Europe are quite blunt, you know, with the accent and everything. And they were sort of like, okay, we don't need to know that. Like, and I'm like, oh, but that's important to me. And they're like, yeah, but we'll get to that. Like right now, we just need to figure out your budget, your location. And like, if we can make that happen kind of thing. So I was like, oh, okay, never mind. So it is literally like, location.
It's quite a logistical chat. It's not really the
lovely
fun
bits.
Yeah.
So we narrowed, we got sort of discussed all of our options with each wedding planner, and we then said to them, okay, thank you, like we'll get back to you. Like we made it very clear that this was almost a form of interview, like you're not locking anything in, you don't owe them anything. Like that consultation is free.
But they also, I guess, are interviewing you because they might not click with you. And if they're not really sure about you, then you're like, okay, well,
exactly, you know, it's not a good feel.
You have to both want to work with each other, don't you?
And they can, I suppose, also say, look, like I can't make your wedding happen, like your expectations or whatever are too high. So anyway, at the very end of all three calls, we actually, our favourites, they were the third one.
Oh, right.
And they came onto the screen, and it was 2 of them. It was a husband and a wife. So, and they were on a split screen, so they weren't together at the time. He looked like he was in an office and she was at home. You could hear her kids in the background, and it just felt really wholesome. And I loved that there was the 2 of them because they had a very interesting dynamic. Like he's the financial admin guy, like she's the creative behind the brand. And instantly I was like, oh, I like having a male and female perspective on it. I think that's really nice.
That's really clever.
And we just connected with them like they could be our friends. Like we would go for dinner with them. It was really interesting. And I said to Adam straight away after, well, actually, even in the call, I was sort of already saying, if we come to see you, would you would you do this, this, and this? So I was almost locking in like a meetup with them. And like after it, I said to Adam, like, I really like them. Like, there's a good vibe. And he was like, well, yeah, you've already been organising a date with them. Like, so I was like, yeah, no, it just feels right. Like, we don't need to think too much about it. They were also the more affordable one. So we were like, oh, this is just a win-win. Like, it just feels right. We don't need to overthink this decision. Like, I'm sure they all have pros and cons, and some can do things better than others. But in general,
if you vibed, vibe's a funny word, isn't it? But if you like gel with them straight away, you just think, that's it.
Because as I say, like the bottom line is, if you know what you want for your wedding, I think you can make that happen through them. You can make the requests. You can tell them what you want. You can be very specific about the type of look and the type of feel. But the actual connection and vibe is you can't force that. Like,
you can't manufacture that. No.
And I think that is really important because not only do you have to back and forth with them quite a lot, you also are there with them on the day. Like that person's present in the space. They're coming in and out of the room with you. Like, I think it's nice to feel comfortable with them and be able to sort of tell them and speak openly to them, like, oh, this is what I need, or look, this isn't going right. Like, can you help me with this? So had a really good feel. And so what we then did was we said to them, oh, we're actually coming to the venue. It might be good to meet and also, you know, have a look around. And they said, oh, great, we can actually show you around. Like, we'll take you to the venues.
Wow.
They said, we've got a suggestion of about 6 or 7 that we think you'd like. So are you going to bring a car? Like, what's happening? And we talked to them about the logistics. And then we met them. So I think we arrived on the Sunday. And then on the Monday, we had a day with them. We had our car, they had theirs. So we just followed around. And it was the female owner of the brand, and then one of her girls. I think she's like one of the content creators, like digital marketing. And both of them were just so lovely. Both are moms. Like I'd say they're in their late 30s, maybe early 40s. Just instantly clicked. Really lovely ladies. It was casual, really. Like it wasn't that formal. They showed us each venue and we'd have little chats in between, and then we'd even stop and like have a coffee at one place and like have a chat about it. And then like at one point we pulled over and she's like, oh, we're just going to get a drink, and like there was just a convenience shop. She says, oh, we're going to get a drink. Do you want anything? And we were like, yeah, actually we can get a snack. And she's like, oh, I'll get it. So she got us some bananas and like, you know, like en route, like just really funny, like just really cute.
What you needed.
And I just think, like I say, like she even said she loves it when she connects with her with her clients. Because she's like, some of them she's now formed friendships with, and like when they travel, they meet them and they'll catch up. And I'm like, oh, it's cute to think that could happen. Like if you really do get
because
on
you
like
could, that. You know, as a, you know, for your anniversary every year you could go back,
like, go, you know, stay with them, like have new friends. But they also said like they were already like at the very end of the day, she said, oh, I'm just so excited to see how this unfolds for you. Like they're quite invested in it for us. And they also,
I think you need that.
They got to know us as well in our relationship and the way we are, and my sort of priorities and Adam's priorities and how that's going to all work. And so it just felt really comfortable and lovely. And I suppose that doesn't always happen, but I think you can find that. You just got to do a bit of research.
You just have to find the right people. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And so basically then it's kind of over to them now. We still have the option, like we have been in touch with our venue directly still. Like we had a couple of other questions and we were like, well, we're just going to still contact them. We need to just hear it from them, really. But ultimately, really, they will now take the reins, and we've officially sort of hired them, I suppose. There's no payment yet. Like that all comes at the very end.
Right. Okay.
So and then their next step, now we know the venue, you sign your contract, you send your deposit, you secure that, is to basically start looking at vendors. So they might say, right, here's a list of photographers that we really like. We've worked with them before. It might be, again, budget related. So you might say, oh, like my max for a photographer is X amount. So there's no point them showing you like a really high end one if you're not going to go for that. So they'll be able to adjust that for you. So they'll send that all over, again, in whatever format. Some might be an Excel spreadsheet or something. You can WhatsApp back and forth. You can send them things you've found. Like, so it is just like an open discussion. And then, you'll start to narrow things down. I think at the moment for us, because we're end of 2025, when we've been starting this conversation.
You've got like over 18 months to go, so you've got time.
So they're sort of saying, oh, well, right now we're looking at our 2026 weddings, and even like some prices could change. Obviously, every year things go up. So they're like, you know, this, like, take this as provisional almost, like it's not set. And so we do feel a little bit on the back burner at the moment. Like they're in touch with us, but you can tell obviously we're
their
not
priorities are with the 2026 weddings. Yeah.
And I do
sure.
think though, like, so my brother, as I mentioned, is getting married abroad. So he's had a very similar, well, not a similar experience actually, but obviously it's the same process.
Yeah.
And their wedding planner, they found her, she was the first one they contacted. They found her on Instagram. They really liked the feel that she, as I said, like they saw photos and were like, she creates
what they wanted. Yeah.
She was associated with certain locations that they liked, like all of that ticked the boxes. They had the call with her, they liked her straight away. But she said to them similarly, like, don't rush. Like, you don't, like I said to Liv, my brother's partner, I was like, oh, have you decided on like table layout yet? Because obviously even things like that are interesting. Like, do you have round? Do you have the big horseshoe? Do you have the long table? Like, because just interesting.
Yeah,
and she was like, oh, well, no. She's like, no, apparently we're not doing that yet. Like, basically they will come to her and be like, now
that's what it's
tables.
That's what Liv was saying to me when I last spoke to her about her wedding. I said to her, how's the wedding planning going? And she was like, well, to be honest, the planner just comes to us like every few weeks and says, okay, now it's time to choose a photographer. Gives them a list of photographers and then they pick a photographer.
Yeah.
Like it's different to how I did it, for example, where, I mean, for photographer, I knew who I wanted instantly. So that I just booked her straight away because I wanted to make sure I got her. But like for bands and stuff, the possibilities were endless. Like I could literally pick anybody. And
it's almost
that's who I chose
to do that research, get it locked in, get the date. Whereas I think they sort of know the timeline and they know, well, by this date we should be doing this.
They're professionals, aren't they? Yeah, they'll know. But also, that doesn't stop you from doing research, does it?
There's certain things I've already started looking at and I will take note of. And as I say, like if they come to me and start saying like photographer, I can say, well, I have actually seen this one. Like, can you check their availability or their cost?
Or give me somebody with that vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like photographers are a very personal thing. Like my photographer has a very specific preset. So basically, a photographer will take a photo, and then they put their own preset over the top of it, which is the grading and like the color. So like my colors, for example, me and Hayley do this all the time. We're always looking at our photos, my photos, but my colors, for example, are very warm, but other people's can be quite cool. Like it depends on the tone. But the preset on mine makes everything feel warmer. And that's, I just loved her style and I loved her vibe. And I think you have to find even if it's a British photographer, you have to find photos that you like. And then you say to your planner, like, this is the vibe I'm going for. And like, you know, you'll have had plenty of conversations about vibe and how you feel and all that kind of stuff. So they'll know what you're looking for.
I think you just reminded me as well with vendors. You can take people from the UK. So some vendors actually specialise in that. Like they'll be UK based, but they do offer destination weddings and it'll be within their package and like their cost that will include like them flying over, staying for a few nights, performing or whatever it is, like a band, a photographer. It's generally that kind of thing, or like a makeup artist. It's the more artsy people involved in your wedding. They can do that for you. So I'm sure it is at a higher cost. So you have to weigh that up. But if you're just so set, I think I do know someone who did it. So it was a photographer who's based in the UK who specializes in destination weddings.
Right.
And even on her website, I've looked into it. She says like, I love to travel. Like this is a perk for me of the job. Like, so I'll go anywhere. Basically, you tell me where and I'll be there. And what's great is obviously you get to meet them in the UK, so you can have that relationship built, and then obviously you see them there on the day. I suppose the other thing like we've thought about is, say you have contacts of your own, like a random one, like we know like a really good DJ. Like I even said to Adam, like, should we like contact that person and say, look, like if we just like cover your travel or cover your hotel, like would you help us out? Kind of thing. Like I suppose you can make those decisions and contacts yourself.
Absolutely, 100%.
But it all comes at a cost or a logistic, doesn't it? So I suppose it is easier to go with what the wedding planner knows, what they've tried and tested.
But I think in that respect, don't be just fully led by your wedding planner. Like, it is your wedding at the end of the day, and if you do have specific things that you want to create, I do think you need to say, actually, I want to do it this way, or I want to do it that way. And like, they are the professionals, of course, but it's still your wedding.
Yeah, I think, like, for example, one thing that's for me with it being abroad is the time of the wedding.
Yeah.
So obviously in the UK, the standard is like a 12, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
You have it around midday, and then, well, we all know the sort of general structure of a wedding.
Yeah.
Abroad, because of the heat, they don't tend to have the wedding in the middle of the day, because obviously that's like prime time.
Hot,
it's too hot for everyone. Your guests, you imagine, like in your dress and your makeup.
Yeah,
horrendous.
and like sitting watching a wedding like in that heat and trying to eat and stuff.
And I also think what I found as well is, as British people, the food for us for some reason is like such a priority.
Yeah.
It's like you have your big meal at like 3 or whatever, or 4 o'clock, don't you?
Yeah.
In the day, and then you still have like the food in the evening.
Yeah.
And, like, whereas what I found is they get married way later in the day. It's like 3 or 4 o'clock. Like the weather's, if some even later, some have suggested like 5 or 6. And that for me is too late. But, then you just have your meal like at like a dinner time, like a 6 p.m. or something. And then often they don't do the food in the evening, like the late night food. And like I've actually requested it and said like, oh, so is there an option for that? Like, it's a very British thing to like have the late night pizza or whatever it is. And they were like, oh, they laugh at us and like, oh yeah, our other British couple said this, like, it seems to be a thing that you want in the UK. Like, we can make it happen. It's like we just don't normally do it. And I'm like, actually, okay, do we need it then? Like, maybe we don't.
And I wonder whether that's because of the drinking culture in the UK. Is that it's like almost like you need to mop up the alcohol kind of thing.
Like you don't want your guests to feel hungry at like 11 o'clock and get like the munchies. So I think we haven't decided on that. We might have something available, but I think if we do have a nice big meal in the evening, technically we don't need to provide like late night food.
I guess if you're not eating till 6 o'clock, like that is, because my wedding, for example, we must have been eating at 3.
Yeah.
So to expect people to go, from 3 till the end of the day, whereas from 6,
and also you have your evening guests arriving, like,
which is different. You wouldn't
will
have
all
that.
be there together.
Yeah,
all
that's
day.
True. Yeah.
But what I was going to say was, what they have said to us, like when it comes to listening to your wedding planner, is that like I talked about the timing. I was like, gosh, like starting at 3 or 4, like doesn't that make the day really short? And they're like, well, firstly, you have more than one day abroad. Like you definitely will have the night before.
It's a 3-day event. Yeah, for sure.
They were like, also, it is about quality, not quantity. Like, yes, you can spread it all out, but it's a long day and you might be tired. Like, at least you'll still have the same amount of things happening, but it'll just be nicely condensed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that does make sense. And you don't have to get up as early, which is nice. You'll have a nice casual morning.
Yeah.
And like you say, the biggest thing is the heat. They were like, trust me, we had a couple British again. I was like, oh, this is so awkward.
Yeah.
They're like, they were adamant they wanted this earlier wedding time, and they basically said, we should have listened to you on the day. The sweat was awful, the photos, everything. And they said, why didn't we listen, basically? That was their biggest regret. So I think you do, as much as, you know what you want, you have to understand that if you are getting married in a different destination, like you have to respect whether it's that culture or the people at the end of the day, they know the weather, they just know about the whole overall feel of the day, don't they? And they know what works and what doesn't. And so you can still have your little like moments that you require, but I think you do have to take into consideration, well, we are getting married somewhere else, so we have to adapt to that. We can't necessarily recreate, carbon copy a British wedding, but just put it abroad.
Because you don't want a British wedding.
Because
you
you would get married here. You could have
exactly.
your 12 o'clock wedding and you could have your long day. And so I think, you just have to know what you're getting yourself into, basically, and respect like their knowledge on it and their experience on it. So, but that's what they're there for, and that's what you pay them for, isn't it? So,
and I think it would be nearly impossible, in my opinion, to do a destination wedding without a wedding planner. Like you
100%.
need, because you don't know, you know, it's not as easy. Like when I got married, I could pop to my venue whenever I wanted. It was half an hour down the road.
Yeah.
Like it's not as easy as that. Whereas
No.
it, you know, having that person does make it easier.
And I think for two reasons. One, I think cost wise, you'll end up spending so much more because if you hire each vendor individually, like that price is going to add up. Whereas a wedding planner has like their contacts, they have deals, they might get some commission, but like it works out for both of you. So that's one factor. The other thing is the actual logistics. Like imagine if you've organized the whole thing yourself and then day of, you know, someone doesn't show up. And that's on you, and you have to then contact in a different country. Like you probably can't even phone on your like an international number, you know, like all of that stuff. Like, just imagine. So I think just for like the seamless, and honestly, when you put it in like to your budget, it's not extortionate. Like for their time and their expertise, I think it's like worthy money.
I agree. And also having someone there on the day, like for me, I was lucky. I had a brilliant venue that did everything really easily for me, and like I just, you know, my coordinator on the day, he was fantastic. But for some weddings, some venues, they're not as hands-on, and I think having a coordinator does mean that, you know, you've always got somebody that's in your corner, exactly. And they are going to make your day as the best it can be. And when
they've been with you from day one, they really know what you want. Like they can really advocate for you. Like I know this is important to her, so make this happen. Because like you can build a relationship with them,
and they can have the battles that you don't want to have. You know, if something happens to go wrong, they can sort it exactly, and you can just enjoy your day wholeheartedly without worrying about a thing.
So that's sort of where we're at. We've decided who we're having. We're in discussion with them now. We have a little joint WhatsApp group. So ours is like the couple plus us too. So the four of us in a group. And we're just back and forth with them now.
And they'll just contact you when there's things that need to be done. And obviously you'll do your research. Beside from that. And then there's all the things that you can do in the UK, you know, like your dresses, bridesmaids dresses. But majority of the stuff will come from there.
From them, yeah, exactly. Like I think until we're faced with the decisions, we won't know exactly how we're going to do it. But I think what will be nice is that leaving that to them, and then like you say, it allows for us to really think about like your dress, your bridesmaids, like those little gestures, like those little extra bits. To make it. And I know like obviously yours was a DIY wedding. Like that's another thing to take into account. Like you can still do that even abroad. Obviously you have to take into account transporting it. But you can do a lot of that work from home. Or supply it from home. Take it with you.
You just have to pay for suitcases, really.
Exactly.
Or pay for it to get shipped. I know a lot of people have like boxed up a lot of their wedding stuff, and they've then paid for it to get shipped to the venue to arrive a couple of days before. Obviously there is always a risk, like whether you're putting a suitcase in the hold or whether you're shipping it, there's always a risk that something can go wrong. So I would always suggest obviously having the very, very special things that you cannot do the wedding without in like hand luggage if you can. You know, like do not put, in my opinion, do not put your wedding dress in the hold.
Oh my gosh,
have your wedding dress with you. Pay whatever the price is to have that wedding dress with you. Like I couldn't.
No, I've had too many dramas with traveling, like with losing suitcases, things getting broken, ripped. So that's another thing to take into account, the travel. But if you want to take things with you, obviously there's always that option that might save cost for you in some ways, but then if you're paying for shipping, it might add cost. So then it might be worth them just doing it for you on their end.
I think it depends what vibe of a wedding you want. You know, I couldn't have had my level of DIY in an abroad wedding. We hired a van to get all of our stuff there. Like there's no way on this earth we were going to be able to get everything over there. So like it would never have happened unless we were getting married in France and we drove it. That would be the only real way that we would do it. But that would be a lot of money with petrol and hiring and things like that. So you just have to think about it, don't you? And you know, you'll make it work.
Yeah, exactly. But I it's nice to think I'll have that sort of free headspace to think about those little details and be able to do bits and bobs here on my end, knowing that they're covering the big stuff.
You can really hone in on the little details that are going to make it exactly how you want it to be.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the bit, you know, the bigger stuff, because they've got your back. And I think that is really good, actually.
Yeah.
How exciting.
I know.
So hopefully when you're back from being away,
yes,
you will be in a position, you know, where you are in your wedding planning.
I'll be like right in the midst of it,
we can sort of come back and revisit this and sort of talk about what's happened since then. Because obviously Lara works away for a certain percentage of the year, and you'll be away now until September.
Yeah.
And then you'll be back and it'll be full on wedding planning.
Yeah, like I can't, like as soon as I get back, it'll be the dress. Like,
yes.
Everything with the wedding planners I can do online while I'm abroad, like while I'm working away. So that's fine. And like, because we're so far in advance, there's no stress on time or anything like that. But then, as soon as September comes, we'll have like it's about 9 months till the wedding.
Yeah.
So then we'll just be like, it'll be so exciting.
It'll be
wedding dress. It'll be sorting the bridesmaids out. It'll be all the little details. And finalising everything with them. Like I think that 9 months pre-wedding is really finalising all the detail,
that will be probably quite busy for you. That sort of 9 months leading up to the wedding. I think with everything that you'll need to do.
But it'll be nice because I'll have worked a lot and I'll have a bit of time then to focus on it.
And you'll enjoy it. It'll be so much fun.
Exciting.
Yeah, it'll be so much fun.
Yeah.
Especially because like there's all this time in that, like, you know, 9 months is a very long time. People plan a wedding in 9 months.
Yeah, exactly. That's
you know,
thing.
You've got so much
ahead.
time in that respect that you can just really enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
How exciting.
I know. And also I suppose it'll be after they'll be finishing the 2026 season.
True.
So then
they'll be more focused on
the 27 weddings.
And because so you will be sort of their main priority, really.
Yeah. So yes,
can't believe it.
We'll
so exciting.
We'll update. We?
So when you're back, we'll update. And obviously, if I can, you know, chat about things if there's things that I feel like I can talk about. But Cooper's back. But yeah, really interesting to hear about how a destination wedding works, because obviously me and Hayley, neither of us have done a destination wedding, so we have no idea how any of this process works. So it's really interesting to hear it from a bride who is living it right now.
Yeah, I do feel like an expert on it, honestly. And I'm sure there's so many different stories that people have, like, and different experiences. Yeah. But as a general gist, I feel like, I've got a good understanding of it, and I am enjoying the process.
Good.
Like,
that's really good.
You said, like, I don't find it stressful.
No.
I care about it, so obviously there's like an element of like not even stress, but like an element of care.
Yeah.
Isn't there? So there's like that heightened level of like, if something's not right, you sort of feel it, don't you?
Yeah.
But overall, like, it's just been fun, like the journey so far, and it's just early days.
Yeah.
And I'm really pleased with that decision so far of where we're going and how we're doing it, and it just feels right. And so
how exciting.
Yeah, it is the best. It is the best thing. I did not think I played it down so much before getting like, I knew I wanted to get married.
Sorry, the battery died, so we are a bit of a different camera angle, but it's fine. We're nearly done anyway because all the lights are dying as well. We can just talk.
We've been
for
talking
hours.
We've got a lot of content here. Like, this could be split into about 4, honestly.
It really good.
No, I was just saying, something about being excited, basically. That, like, I didn't think I would be like I knew I wanted to get married. I knew I would enjoy, like, getting married. Yeah. But I didn't think, I sort of played it down, I think, before.
Yeah,
like,
I would say,
I'm not going to be all like all of that into all that. I'm not going to be that like bride, like milking it. But the more I do it, I'm like, oh no, like, it is so special.
Oh,
like,
it really is.
Just, it's like what it signifies, isn't it? It's like your relationship, and that's the end. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It is, and it's so special. Like, and ideally you do only do it once, and so it just feels like this massive moment. And when else, you've said it before on the podcast many times, like, when else do you get all the people you love together to celebrate your love and your love for them as well, and love in general? Like, love is amazing. Like, it's just a big party, a big holiday, however you choose to do it. And it's just everything it signifies. It's so special. And so that's why I think getting the details right, like, ultimately the marriage is the most important thing, but the details really just, like, enhance your day, don't they?
Yeah.
And it just all, if that's right, the whole thing feels right.
Yeah.
Like why wouldn't you want the best venue, the best dress, the best scenario?
And like you said, you're only really going to do, like, the aim is to only ever do it once.
Yeah.
So why not make the most of it and make it the best possible day it can be?
Yeah. And so like it's nice as well to have that over 18 months to plan, because I do feel like I can really enjoy the process and not rush into it. And as much as I'm so ready, like I could do it next month. I could do it next year easily.
Yeah.
It feels nice to like have this stretch of time now.
Yeah, I agree. It is lovely. Right.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming and talking to us about destination weddings. We really, really appreciate you coming on and talking to us. Sorry, let me move this dog. And it's been lovely to catch up about your wedding. It's so exciting. And like I said, we'll definitely have more conversations, later on down the line when you're, further on in the wedding planning part, I guess. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please, and listening. Please make sure that you watch and listen part 1 as well, because there's lots of useful tips and tricks from Lara about destination weddings that we obviously don't know about. So it's really interesting to hear it from somebody who's living it right now. But yes, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and also follow, review, whatever that may be. We really, really appreciate it. But for now, I'm Phillipa.
I'm Lara.
This was Confetti Conversations, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.